Because it's the only way his death makes sense. Okay, so you probably want a little bit more than that. To me, Keons has always been the most interesting bishop from the bunch. Sure, Nico's right there, but Keons is the polar opposite because we know from Clancy's letters that Keons is warm, gentle, unwavering, and forthright, where the people who live in his district are happy to be there and they are proud to serve, compared to the other districts with their bishops where they rule with an iron fist. We see Keons' gentleness when going out into Trench to bring Clancy back to Dema, because Keons embraces Clancy, saying, "Child, let's go home." Compare this to Nico's, "I'm just gonna ride it on my horse. Smear you, am going to drag you back to Dema if I have to." Keons, way more gentle approach than that, which makes his death in the Outside Music video even more strange. We know it's Keons, Mark from Real Bear Media has confirmed it as such, and to me, it doesn't make sense for the bishops to murder Keons to death if Keons was still for vialism. If Keons was still on good terms with the bishops and still believed in what they were doing, his death doesn't make sense. Because I've seen people say that his death was essential for the bishops to clean up evidence of the Saturday events in the sub. However, all the evidence of that sunk into the bottom of the ocean, and the citizens of Dema would have no idea that even happened, so there'd be no reason to get rid of the bishops. The only reason for Keons' death to make sense is that Keons was a turncoat. That Keons decided enough is enough and it's time for a change, and maybe Keons was the help from the other side for a certain Torchbearer. Good morning, good afternoon, or good night, depending on when you're watching this. How's it going, guys? First off, hope you're having a good day today. Hope your day's going well and hope it continues to go well. Let's get right into it. Here is Keons helping the Torchbearer. This idea stems from the latest Clancy journal we got, unbelievably, over a year ago now. Hard to believe the Outside Music video is a year old, but it's this letter right here. If you have your Clancy journal hymnals, please turn to 02203 Moon 18. We'll be focusing on these last couple of sentences right here. Though it's been years since he last spoke with them, I hope they have not lost faith in the Torchbearer's plan. But how could any of this have been planned? How could any of this have been planned? It's a very interesting sentence to go in here because, one, Clancy is very confused about the whole plan because Clancy has no idea what these psychokinetic weapons are, why he was given them, and why he was able to control the empty body of a vessel now. And it's very confusing because also, you get the weapon diagram right before this, and you would think if Clancy uploaded this weapon diagram that Clancy would have an idea what this weapon is. However, we have a full video more in depth in the description box below, but more than likely this document was uploaded by one Joshua Dunn to DMA.org because since Clancy has no idea about it, the Torchbearer must have some idea about it. And if you analyze the writing at the very bottom of here, it does look an awful lot like Josh's handwriting. And to go along with how could any of this have been planned, there's a whole plan listed on the weapon diagram. Then again, if Clancy uploaded this, Clancy would know. But the weapon diagram shows at the very bottom of here, seize available vessel at Volksoy Eastern Cove, interrupt bishops. How would they know? Glorious Gone equals available vessel, bishops control the available vessel, interrupt and seize. They will make you a weapon. Very interesting stuff there, but also at the very top, you have these letters. They're all scrambled. We have an arrow. This spells out seize Keons. You know, the bishop we see die in the Outside Music video. How could any of this have been planned? Of course, another big question is, how in the world did they get this document? Like, this is a document that shouldn't be made available to the general public of Dema, that it's so easy to take. This looks like it should belong to the bishops, and it kind of looks like it belongs in a book. Too bad we've never seen a book in the Dema storyline. Oh wait, yes we have. This is the Book of Vialism that was on the landing page for the live.20pilots.com site leading up to the live stream experience. I want to say it was there for a week or two, but a lot of people saw this and freaked out because we've never seen this before, and it was so interesting to see. And the weapon diagram looks like it belongs in this book, which makes sense. Now, as far as the writing on it goes, I doubt that in the Book of Violence, when you open up, it would say, go to the island of Volkswagen, interrupt the bishops, seize available vessel, and it would say seize Keons at the top. That stuff looks like it was added in after the fact, that someone wrote on this page. And as we discussed before, odds are it's the Torchbearer, because the handwriting matches Josh, and maybe it was given to him by Keons. And this would explain why the document specifically says to seize Keons rather than seize Andre, then seize the Carver, Lisden, or any other bishop you put. There's a reason why it says Keons, and maybe that's because when coming up with this plan, Keons said, I'm going to sacrifice myself to overthrow this thing I don't necessarily believe in anymore, because maybe Keons had a change of heart, because again, he's the warm, gentle, kind bishop, and if they are using Clancy for nefarious purposes, his citizen that he has an attachment to, then Keons is going to sacrifice himself for the greater good. Now, discussing Keons' motivation to turn against Vialism and the bishops as a whole, that one gets a bit dicey because, of course, we know this stuff about Keons being gentle, upright, forthright, and warm, all this stuff. However, we don't exactly know their thought process. We don't know their minds. However, again, Keons was there for Clancy, both in Dema, outside in Trench, bring him home, as well as in Dema's prison during the entirety of the writing of Scale Nacy. Keons would collect the papers in pen. Keons would most likely read what Clancy was writing on these. He probably read the lyrics to Redecorate, Choker, Good Day, No Chances, all of these songs. Maybe Keons, it felt really bad for Clancy. It felt bad during the live stream experience where Clancy could be seized by the bishops to use for their propaganda purposes, and where, of course, it's not exactly right. It goes against Keons' moral compass. Sure, Keons is a bishop. Bishops don't have the moral compass in the Dema storyline, but Keons, once again, unwavering, forthright, kind, and gentle, especially to his citizens. Maybe if it was someone in Listo's section, Keons wouldn't feel as bad. But Keons knows Clancy, so maybe Keons felt bad enough to where he knew he had to stop it. Bring in the Torchbearer, bring in the plan, here's the document of the weapon diagram, here's where to go to. I'm going to turn against my brothers and sisters and sacrifice myself to overthrow them. And if your self-titled is a part of the lore believer, then a car torch death fits perfectly here. Because of course, the torch. You have the Torchbearer in Josh Dunn. Super useful. You have the death. Now I know a lot of people will point to Clancy. The Clancy is dead that you can rearrange Scale Nacy into. But we get the more clear death of Keons in the outside music video. That death, crystal clear, to where Clancy's death is pretty ambiguous. And Keons' death has already paid dividends because Tyler's taken it over, set Dema on fire, and the bishops are scrambling, figuring out what exactly to do here. And that leaves us with the car, which, yes, I saved that one for last purposely, because Heavy Dirty Soul, that's where we first see the car, of course, car radio, but in Heavy Dirty Soul, the music video where you first see the car, how does this play in? Well, my friends, Heavy Dirty Soul is Keons' song. So hypothetically, in a car torch of death, if Keons is working with the Torchbearer, then Keons can be tied into everything. Heavy Dirty Soul with the car, the death, and the plan with the Torchbearer. Sowing the seeds, plan coming together. Is this a stretch? Probably. However, I previously said that Josh was Keons before, so I think that this is on the more logical side of things. But also, I can't think of any other reason for the bishops to murder Keons' death, because like I said, if they're hiding the evidence is at the bottom of the ocean. We know there weren't a lot of survivors except for Josh and Tyler, but they wouldn't know that. They would think they're at the bottom of the ocean as well, if that was their plan all along. And if it wasn't their plan, Keons just went crazy and went rogue, sure, by all means, I guess that's one reason to A2 brute the guy, but if this was the bishop's plan, the death of Keons would not make sense. And the most logical conclusion for Keons' death is working with the Banditos for this overall master plan in a way to overthrow Dema, in a way to break the cycle in half, if that is the ending of the Dema storyline. Even if it's not the ending of the Dema storyline, and it is just a constant cycle, because that's how mental health works, the bishops can hypothetically be replaced. There can always be a new Keons that steps through the door. So we won't know until the next Clancy letter. We won't know until the next album. We won't know until 21 Pilots fulfills my wish of covering Losing My Religion by R.E.M., giving me a music video from the perspective of Keons, so that way we know exactly why he turned. Don't lie, that would be a great cover and music video. But I'd love to know your thoughts down in the comment section below. I would love to an open discussion about this, and if you think Keons got murdered to death for any other reason, I would love to hear it, because genuinely, I don't know anymore. But anyway, guys, I will see you all tomorrow with an episode of Justin Listens To, the series where I listen to an artist that I've never listened to before. I think tomorrow I might listen to Sleep Token, maybe Boy Genius, as we have listened to Phoebe Bridgers. But anyway, I'll see you on Wednesday, definitely, for another piece of 21 Pilots content. See you all later. Goodbye, and good night. More importantly, have a good day.